What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Showtime is blazing with King's Critiques. And first to start, just like yesterday, I apologize if you hear the background noise. My air conditioner is on because, again, it's hot as balls. But I listened back to yesterday's episode of Vigilante, and it didn't sound that terrible. So we're just rolling with it, so I'm at least, like, not disgruntled during the recording session. That being said, second thing, as per usual, if the video is shorter than intended, as yesterday's was, blame Red for not knowing how copyright works and just sending an AI to do everything. Now, before I get into the other intro stuff, an announcement for what we're watching here. One of the first new anime of the season, the second mystery-style anime to come out of the season, by the by. There's another one that came out the other day that I did not start yet. But when it comes time for it, I will start it. For now, we have this mystery comedy anime that's focused around a middle-aged man with his high school assistant, which at least shows me that there won't be any, like, actual big, romance shoehorned in for no reason. So at least that means it should be a fun show, right? That said, though, of course, if you're interested in the show, or you already watched it or whatever, it's encouraged to stick around and have conversation in the comment section down below. Or, at the very least, if you're not going to do that, at least let the video run through to help me get the watch time, because that's good for the algorithm, as it's hitting the like and subscribe buttons. Now that being said, now that everything is out of the way, we shall get started with this brand new show. This is about to be another banger from Katakawa. We love it. I just wanted to say a bit, though, about the intro, that when he was doing the heart rate monitor thing, that's totally relatable, where it's like, yeah, these are climbing into unhuman-like numbers, and it's like, my bad for being a stressed old man. Why do I highly doubt that? Also, for the record, I'm still probably like 800 episodes behind Conan. I haven't lost my skills, I'm just old. See, looking at him, that makes me want to, like, persist in this life even less if my body's going to deteriorate further in just another 4-ish years. Okay, the positioning, though, little awkward. Okay, now, I knew it wasn't going to be romantic directly, but I did figure there'd have to be some sort of comedy involving situations like that. So, like, this isn't a time I'm going to say based, but also, shit, she wields a bat. Okay, no, hold up, we're not letting that slip by. I understand girls have, like, pockets of holding in their titties and stuff sometimes, but we are not getting past that's exactly where she pulled that from. Like, unless that's what gave the curvation, which I understand that could be why. How? Okay, that wasn't the only thing she had in there. That makes it even more confusing. Matt, listen. Women need to teach their secrets. I swear. Like, if we could use something on our bodies as infinite storage holding units, Matt, we totally would. Also, under the skirt? I mean, again, we've seen that be a place of infinite holding, too, from some things. I've seen the anime where some chick pulls the fucking... not quite a spear, not quite a sword, but, one of those in-between weapons from under a hoo-ha. Halberd? Something like that. Because I don't have any money to hire. That's not true. That is not true at all. Like, I can't say I've seen any anime per se about that. But, again, referring back to Detective Conan, where, he often used Sonoko to give the results of the investigation. I miss that show. I really do. Like, time is a bitch. I can't find time to watch things like that. Like, I'm so close on catching up to One Piece, and I haven't watched that in forever. And that at least has a dub I can, like, just let play while I'm doing other shit, so I can catch up to it easier. Conan is not that gracious. They cut off the dub at, like, 300 and something. Hold on. Let me take my sip while he goes over this. It's not like I'm a jar or anything. And then he goes over the exact listing on why she is. Let's run over the checklist. makeup, cleavage on display. Not too shabby, by the way. Short skirt. I mean, also true, but also not true. Like, if it wasn't for Best Girl coming back, you'd probably run for Jaru of the season. Yo, phrasing, my guy. Phrasing. Like, I can often argue, and, you know, I'm not gonna even bother argue. I'd be a hypocrite if I were. Okay, again, where did that come from? Because, like, she had a bat first, now she has a spear. Where does she keep getting these weapons? I don't know how to feel about that imagery. Like, now they made her face seem more manly for joking purposes, as Kanekawa tends to do. But now she's trying to get it back in there. Okay. That's the funnier part of the whole bit, is usually they don't try to, like, shove it back into their titties of holding. They just kind of throw it somewhere else and it reappears later. Now, she's trying to get that back in there. Hold on, did she actually just... She actually did just reference the whole titties of holding thing. Incredible. Okay, when you can open hand smack someone so hard you break their nose, that's actually kind of impressive, though. Kanekawa's art choices are interesting sometimes. Why do I feel like that was just like a one-for-one drawing based off from somebody that works there? I think she actually nailed that one pretty much on the head, though. Really? I mean, granted, it's believable in today's day and age if someone's cheating on their spouse. Unfortunately, but hey, that's how low standards have gotten. And yet not low enough for me. Okay, that aside. Oh, hey, it's actually so convenient that you have a high school girl who probably followed you there. Which, out of context, is insane to say. Yep, there it is. The dead-eyed expression on his face. Which is, understandable, but... You don't get it, she's trying to help you, you dipshit. Okay, I think that's less believable than anything else, honestly. Especially all things considering, not only is the much younger girlfriend thing a terrible excuse, but also she is realistically old enough to be his daughter, which is... Yeah, we're gonna get that whole bit of, you know, comedic points slapped in her face every once in a while. That was predictable to begin with, but hey, at least it's not an actual romantic view. Bitch, we just walked in here. Just order anything, it doesn't matter. It's like, watch me order something stupid. He doesn't know what it is, and meanwhile, she's just standing there waiting. That is a drink, alright. Actually, you know what? It doesn't look like a drink. We know what it looks like. And Roger's getting old. You know, what business nowadays actually allows smoking inside? Because there isn't many. Like, back when I was a kid, they were here, there, and everywhere. You know, your own little smoking rooms and shit. Now I think I see maybe 2 or 3 businesses in my area, at least, that have things like that okay inside. But again, it's sectioned off into their own room. Japan might be different. I don't know. Would love to go. Haven't gone, but still, I question that part. Y'all are being quite loud, and you are not good at disguising things. Yeah, how? How did you... Like, a couple with an age gap is just a very, like, simple way of expressing, why is that old man with that young girl? Like, the older I get, at least I recognize that, like, I shouldn't actually be together with somebody who's younger than 20. Although, if I did ever get that lucky to get somebody who's like, I was about to say, I don't know why he'd be dead. He'd be caught for sure and maybe yelled at, but did this man just ask what a smartphone is? Man, I get being old, but come on. You're not much older than me, fam. That means you should know what a fucking smartphone is. You know, this thing, this device that lets you do things and stuff. And mirrors. My guy, smartphones have existed at, you know, about where they are now for 20-ish years. How old are you? Like, it says 36, but, like, how old are you? Like, that's more to even question, actually. I imagine in Japan they probably had half-decent phones even before 2005. Like, shit, I didn't get my first proper phone until 2007 or so. But, like, they definitely existed. Granted, only to the point of, like, calls and playing Snake, but they still existed. Exactly. The fact that she was following you without you noticing her means a lot more than you think. Not in that way, but, you know, in the way that she's a better detective. No, listen, you can use the excuse the old ways are all you know when it comes to certain things, you know, speech patterns, thought processes, etc. Because, like, the new wave of thinking is usually just, like, a matter of the times. So, like, it'll pass eventually. So why bother reconfigure your whole brain to work with the times instead of just, like, working with what you know? That's why I do what I do, unabashedly, no shame, no regrets, no nothing. Like, I'll apologize if I might have offended somebody. Like how I always bring up, it's, like, morally not okay to say some of the things I do, but also, this is fucking anime, so Ligma. But, yeah, like, just believe what you believe, do what you do, but hey, if your job depends on, like, getting a bigger brain, do it. You know, that's why I don't, like, add anything extra into these videos, but when I do videos on the other channel that I'm, like, actually doing creative stuff for, I at least try a little more. Which, summon videos for Finan should be happening tomorrow? Yeah. Oh, hey. His case was right. I just had a thought process, but I'll go over that at, like, the end. So is she guilty or not? While true, that's also kind of a thought process that fucks people over more often than it should. So, like... Because, like, a hug is not really that much concrete evidence. Is it possibly concrete? Sure. But, like, I feel like a step up is a little bit more concrete, you know? Seeing people kissing, that's at least more concrete. A hug is just a very simple, friendly gesture that can happen in general. I wouldn't know because the last time I was genuinely hugged by somebody that wasn't family was a drunk chick. I think I've mentioned that before. But, that's such an old camera. The flash and everything? Yeah, like, you kind of gave yourself away there, buddy. She has a smartphone. Why didn't you just, like, tell her to just go... Just real sneaky, like... Oh, right, he doesn't know what a smartphone is. How the fuck are you 36 years old and you don't know what a smartphone? I understand being, you know, in your 40s, 50s and not knowing quite what a smartphone is. Because, like, at least then you're actually old. But just being middle-aged and not knowing what a smartphone is, that's insane. Now, she's getting it. She knows what she's doing more than he does. He's losing his way. She's getting it. Yeah, and see, the hug was an argument that maybe she wasn't cheating, but the, you know, way he's grasping her, that's more romantic intentions. Well, romantic intentions. I'm not gonna say I don't blame her, but I'm also gonna say, at least, like, spruce up your pomp a little, man. Like, make yourself look good. That thing's kind of, like, deflated. Like, back in the day, you probably ran your own little bike club and shit, and that's what she fell in love with. But now, that thing's just kind of, like, sad and pathetic. But you would have failed your case if it wasn't for her. So, like, why not? That is not good enough. Really, because, again, you would have failed if she wasn't there. Oh, no. How's she gonna burn him? What do you want from him? He's a detective. Not every case is going to be related to murder. I love how he says careful getting home and then breaks himself. And on his head he goes. Yeah. No, that's... Yeah. I'll go on to go old chat. Kitty. You're so good, Kitty. Oh yeah, both ears are orange on that cat. New mascot. New mascot. Cerberus. You know what? Sure. Who the fuck... Cerberus was a dog, and that's just a fucked up looking dog. Charlie knew what he was saying. The cat just spit on her. That is rude as hell. Like, yeah, I don't appreciate abusing cats, but also it did spit directly on her. Maybe a little bit of punishment is warranted. Don't quit your day job, sweetheart. He's like, yeah, no. Yeah, no, catching a bear that shows up in town is not a detective's kind of work. I mean, like, if he's forced to do it, maybe, but otherwise, I don't know if you want to fuck with a bear. Like, I've heard stories of bears just kind of wandering into places they shouldn't be in and just, like, being chill and stuff. Like, I heard from somebody else that bear walked into a fucking Home Depot and just kind of, like, walked around and looked at shit, and it's like, what was he looking for? What did he want to purchase? You know, those are the kind of situations where you just kind of let the bear handle themselves. You know, if a bear's, like, fucking up an entire town and destroying things, that's the kind of time where you might want to call somebody to handle it, but... How the fuck did you do that already? Hi, Cerberus. Oh, that's horrifying. Please tell me it's dead. The fact she just grabbed it out of his hands with no fucks to give is impressive. Though I will say that there's probably, like, more female members of my family that would be more apt to do that kind of thing, as opposed to a lot of the male members of my family. And I'm not even joking. Oh, no. No, she's gonna screw with him. Come on, man. So not cool. Then again, personally, I would kick a bitch in the pee. Oh, well. Now she has been yoted. Yeeted? You've been tossed out the fucking window. That's where she's been. Meanwhile, there's some chick there trying to get a job, and she just witnessed him throw a teenage girl out the window. Hey, just because she got thrown out the window doesn't mean she was murdered. I love how appropriately he's talking to her just to try and cover up the fact he just threw the bitch out the window. Like, I was going to try and make a joke, but it didn't come to me. Yeah, no, that's protagonist logic. God damn it, Mashiro. Nope, that is not a job for me. Yeah, no, honestly, though, agreed. Like, listen, if I sold myself to the public to do whatever, those would be the kind of things I'd refuse to, especially when it comes to bees. Like, you want me to go and, like, throw some water on a bunch of ants compiling into one place near your house? Sure, I can do that. You want me to, you know, have the fucking Russian leg dance in a swarm of anything else that's just on the ground? Sure, I can do that. But you want me to take out a beehive? Yeah, that's not happening. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure we had something similar to a beehive around our house years ago, and somebody else had to take care of that shit. So, yeah, no. I think I've gone over before. I have at least 10 spider bodies. Okay, I can't say they're all spider, but I have 10 insectoid bodies on my wall, and that's not even all of the ones I've killed in this house in the last 6 years. Wait, how are there no exterminators in town? That seems like an unprofessional way to run a, you know, town. It's like, how do I use a cell phone? And she's just happy to have a job. Such and such in the town and so-and-so. That's actually funnier that they didn't even give something, like, made up. They just kind of said, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. It's like, Pog. Is this gonna be, like, way bigger than a simple bee nest? That's not where they were referring to. Though, if the bee's nest is really that big on the actual house, then that's even scarier than a crime family. Yeah, being called partner meant a lot to her, and she's at the wrong place. This is not about to go well. The censorship to take out official names of things. Love it. Man, she is totally in the wrong location. And this is not even going to solve the case that they were there for, but it's going to solve something else probably just by happenstance. Then again, it's almost the end of the episode, so maybe she'll get kidnapped. Which isn't a good thing, but what happens? Well, they spotted her. Is she about to commit arson? Like, high-key, is she about to commit arson? Okay, well, that's not what I thought was about to happen. But, you know, yeah, I imagine they're pissed. He has no idea what's going on, and yet it's going to work somehow. Damn, that's a pretty impressive weapon. Oh no, he has the pew-pew. Okay, how appropriate that was to what he thinks is going on is actually funny. The titties of infinite holding. What even? Yeah, no, he's asking the exact same thing I am, and looking at it, there's two answers. One, it's either more bug spray, which would kind of fit with what was actually supposed to be happening. 2 is a fucking flamethrower. We have a winner! Oh my god, the fact he has no idea what's happening over there until he starts hearing the voices, it probably leaves him so confused. Well, she's a bit cuter than that, but like, yeah, no, she totally has the expression of run. That's a poor reason to join the Yakuza. Is her entire body just an infinite storage unit? Because, like, the titties and the skirt, that's expected, but she's pulling the shit out of her back.
根津太郎22歳、ヤクザ歴2年、初めて死の気配を察知。その瞬間、脳のリミッターが解除され、生き残る術を模索した結果。
Just immediately apologizing. Meanwhile, on the other end, he's like, Yakuza, where the fuck are you? No, she didn't. That's like, that woman's gonna call him later and be like, you didn't take care of the beehive. It's like, what? But I heard her fight them the whole time. Weird how some of them knew Japanese. About that. Long leg.
何者かの手によって突如壊滅しました。
これ
Did you do that? You weren't specific about it. Yeah, honestly, that's the better question. Like, but honestly, job well done all the same. You goofed up. You... Bitch! How do you goof up like that? So she picked up another assistant. How the fuck? Meanwhile, he's like, why are there more people here? You know what? More tools to use in my business is not a bad thing, especially because he's probably, like, less free-spirited than she is. It's been one episode and there's 4 people involved in the business. Okay, well, 3 people and a cat, but... Cat. We love cats. Even if Cerberus is kind of an asshole. Yeah, meanwhile, she's like, my bee problem? They all just completely forgot. Okay. We'll listen to the outro, then we'll run our whole thought process bit. Okay. So, like... Yeah. That was some show indeed. I mean, obviously, first statement, it's Katakawa, so of course we're sticking with it. Like, in recent history, Katakawa has went from just being, like, one of my favorite companies to being, like, one of my favorite companies. I'm pretty sure I mentioned before how they're probably, like, in my opinion, within the top 3 of companies that produce shit. Because they just put out banger after banger after banger after banger. Like, at least 3 of the different shows from last season were Katakawa, and they were all so fucking good. And a lot of the ones I didn't even watch were Katakawa, and they were probably so fucking good. I just... They're one of the companies I love to see stuff from. With that said, I'm going to stop talking about the company themselves and talk about the show. Because, I mean... So... The concept, you know, old man with, you know, bodily issues, which really does show that I don't want to persist in this life much further without having a reason. Because, God, I'm already getting old. I don't want to get that old. You know, high school girl who... I'm going to start this statement off by saying she kind of, yeah, might slip into the, you know, top girls of the season, in my opinion. Like, 2 already take over the immediate first 2 spots of the top 3, let alone the top 5. And that's before the show even comes back. But, listen, is anybody going to argue with me when I say that Marin and Psycho are going to be 2 of the top 3? No, they aren't. But, attractiveness aside... The show's insane. Like, the show is completely insane. It's not quite brain-rotted, but it is insane, but in the right ways. The way they kind of, like, use what has to be sketches of their employees, you know, when they do those facial expressions, things like that are always a little bit funny, at least. But I enjoyed it. I love mystery shows. This isn't going to be a genuine mystery anime, you know, a genuine detective anime, but at least it'll, like, be good enough to the point where it'll be, like, funny as shit happens. Kind of like that Vampire Dies in No Time thing, you know, where there were missions that the main character went on, but it didn't always end up successfully. Which I really gotta go back and finish season 2 of that show too. Like, I watched the first episode on this channel and just never went back to it. Like, there's a lot of shows I did that with I need to go back to watch. I think that's another reason I want to, like, organize the shit on this channel better. But other than my ADHD brain going from one place to another, what are your thoughts on the show? Because, like, he's a kind of funny character because he's, like, older than old. You know, it doesn't make sense for him not to know what a smartphone is, and yet that's a gimmick they played with here, so that's kind of insane, honestly. You know, she's quirky, she's cute, she's definitely a Jaru, because he went over the reasons earlier, and, like, well, that's, like, a dated and misconceived notion. Also, look at Best Girl back there and, you know, reconsider what that exactly means. Which, on topic, is this me or did she get closer? Whatever. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on the show, the characters, where things are going to progress from now, because unlike a lot of other shows like this, they gain members into their business really fast. It started with her, then they got a mascot, then they got another guy that basically gave up his will to live to her so he didn't get his ass beat. Which, on topic, Sakamoto Days is also coming back soon, isn't it? Yeah, let me know thoughts on character, show, plot, etc. You know, and also let me know about anything else I should check out this season, next season, or in general. This season of anime, we do have it packed, but I'm still, you know, willing to hear people out of shit they want me to check out, and I'll fit into the schedule at some point or another. Also, of course, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the gaming channel in the description, ring both bells, and follow the blue, the letter, the blue atmosphere, the black, the orange, the purple. Subscribe with Purple Prime for free. That does help me out immensely. But subscribing to these does help out more. Let me know, should I start a green channel to do some live reviews? I may or may not, regardless of what people say anyway. But I'm always looking for opinions. And that being said, damn it, not again! That really has to stop happening. OBS be OBS, I guess. Anyway. Excuse me. That being said, it's been the Blazer Gang with King's Critiques, and ta-ta for now. Peace.